going on, y'all? It's your boy Mar, back with the Need to Know. So we have two special guests in the building. Y'all seen Khalid before. We actually had Lama before, but due to technical difficulties on my end, we didn't get to put the episode out. But he's back. Today we are talking toxic relationships. I'm pretty sure everybody's been through it before. So let's start off with, when was your last toxic relationship?
Last one? It's ongoing. Nah, I would say like a month ago. My last one.
Mine was literally right before quarantine hit. So that ended like during quarantine.
So that was good.
I think mine was 2017, 18.
Oh, you due for a new one.
That was, yeah. You kind of overdue for a good one.
Toxicity is I'm passing up.
You never pay attention, trust me. It's always gonna try to teach yourself something.
Yeah, it's all gonna come out.
Right.
I guess to kick things off, what was the worst and best thing that you had in that toxic relationship?
Well, let me start off by saying that my toxic relationship lasted for a very long time. I would say about almost 2 years. What I would say is, when times were good, things were great. Like, when we weren't arguing, we would be laughing it up. He was like my best friend, you know, we'd be chilling. We could do spontaneous shit and go to the city and just chill, do random shit. But when it was toxic, it was just manipulation, blaming stuff on me, cheating, all of that. So it was all over the place. But when it was good, it was great.
Now, the best thing was that it was fun. He was like a best friend, you said?
Yeah, like
Same.
I could actually speak to them. Like we would, you know, travel to work together and stuff like that. So it wasn't anybody I felt like I couldn't bond with. But at the end of the day, he wasn't that great for me.
Gotcha. The best for me was the sex. I would say toxic sex is the best. Yeah, that's the best.
Second that.
The worst is just driving me crazy. The arguments, the petty arguments about nothing. It's lack of communication, and it just drives you crazy as a man, especially as a man. You think you're doing something wrong, and that person is just pointing the finger.
Bickering.
Yeah, and they do stuff on purpose just for the make-up sex. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say that my last one, even though it was kind of long ago, I'd say the best thing, was the sex. The worst thing was just, like Mama said, just the arguments. It was always about stupid shit. Like, it's arguments that I wouldn't even think would be an argument until she made it an argument, and I was just like, okay. Then you start arguing, and then like maybe 10 minutes later, you're thinking like, why are we arguing?
Right.
It's like, okay, but yeah, I would say the arguments is like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I found it to be fun. I know it sounds weird, but like, sometimes arguments can be fun. Like, it's just
like getting under somebody's skin, just seeing how they react to you. It's kind of interesting.
Until they say something that's like takes it too far, then it's like, okay, now like,
Yeah.
now it's a problem.
It becomes like a competition of who could push each other farther.
Yeah. And take something and throw it right in your face that you told them that was a secret.
Exactly, yeah.
Like,
that's where the manipulation comes in.
Yeah.
So it feels like, to me, females, the toxic part for you guys is arguing. And for like a female, it's like manipulation, gaslighting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
So something that Lama said, he basically said, well, me and Lama said was that the sex was the best part of toxic relationships. I see that a lot on social media. So do you guys have like a reasoning as to why toxic relationships, even though we know it's bad, it's like the sex makes us keep coming us back? Like,
I think, sorry, I don't know if you want to go
No,
first.
go ahead.
But I think the reason why the sex seems so great is because everything else is so shit. Like, I don't know if that's the case, but I feel like it was the only thing keeping me, partially, because like for me personally, once quarantine started and I wasn't seeing this person all the time, it was like, what is he doing for me? Like, what am I getting out of this?
The quarantine.
Definitely.
It's the thrill. I would say the thrill. It's like that person made you so mad that that's the only thing pulling you back. Mm-hmm. And then when you do it, it's like it relieves everything. But then you go right back. It's like a cycle. Until somebody ends that cycle, mm-hmm. It's like a forever roller coaster.
And when I took that factor away from like our relationship, you saw more of like the negative. Like
Mhm.
he was blowing up my phone, threatening me, stuff like that. So it's just like, damn, this is the person I was with. Like,
Yeah, that's terrible. But
So, okay.
yeah. No, I was saying that's it. It's just like, what is that one thing that brings you back? It's the sex.
Right.
And then after that, you got to deal with the person. And it's like, man, this person is shitty. Like, I don't want to be around them outside of the sex.
and I think like because that was the only fact that kind of you do mad different shit with sex. Like I feel like my most spontaneous like experiences with sex was with somebody that was toxic to me. So it's like we were doing it here, there, anywhere, not freaking caring who caught us or anything. So
Pretty much what you guys are saying is like because the sex is the positive, it clouds the negative in
Mhm.
that moment. Okay, so I see what you mean. Okay, so in a sense, it's like the energy you receive, positive wise, is more than all the negatives combined, or is it just
The energy, it depends. It depends on the situation, the mood. Because you can have sex and it don't always end up being the best energy for you.
right.
Cause
Or
you
satisfying.
Yeah. Because you could take in that person's energy and they could be having a shitty day. And you taking that in through the sex. I always think sex is like an exchange of energy.
right?
So depends on that situation. Yeah, it would depend on that person's mood or your mood. Yeah.
Okay, so to stay on toxic relationships and sex for a second, have you guys ever had a toxic relationship and bad sex?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, I have.
Okay, wait.
Yes, I have.
So, because I know everybody like defines bad sex differently. Like some people would be like, oh, they gave bad head, or somebody would be like, oh, they like were Minutemen or something. So like, what do you mean by like bad sex?
Okay, so this relationship was toxic. The positive side was that they were romantic, like when they wanted to be, or they took me out. So it wasn't really the sex that kept me in that relationship. How do I say this politely?
No name dropping.
No name drops. They were not to size for me, and I had to overwork the sex so that I could satisfy myself. So, you know,
Dang.
that wasn't.
And you stayed
satisfying.
because
They were nice guys. In the romantic sense.
so the toxic part was his penis.
No, the toxic part was that when his cake and eat it too.
Gotcha.
So,
Oh, but he couldn't eat the cake, right?
you couldn't do a lot of things right.
Man.
Ooh. Sorry.
So how do you guys define toxicity? Because I know some people, like they would define their toxic relationship as somebody who didn't communicate with them all the time when they needed that, or some people think toxic like arguments all the time, but some people like that. So what are y'all definitions of toxicity?
Just not seeing eye to eye with a person, and they always misunderstanding what you're saying. You're just not understanding you as a person. The chemistry is just off, but there's something in that keeps you there. So you could just not like a person, but you have that connection with them that keeps you there. So inside, you know in your head, like, this person's not good for me, but it's something that's keeping me there. And it's a list of things that you just don't like the person. And on paper, y'all don't mesh well, but something that's keeping you there. It could be the looks, it could be the sex, it could be how they dress, how fun they are, but the inside person, nah, no good.
How I describe toxic is their balance with like learning me as a person and doing things that would keep me or not keep me is like off. So say for example, communication, it could be, I'm not saying anybody's perfect. It could be good one day, bad one day, but if it's constantly bad and then it's not only communication, but like when you communicate, it's horrible, or you attack me or manipulate me or gaslight me to where you don't feel great in the relationship with them, despite them trying to fix things or stuff like that. Like it doesn't seem to get better.
Second guessing yourself and relationship.
Like your person should benefit you, not bring you down.
Yeah.
Have you ever made a list and compared that list to that person and you still
Made up what kind of list?
So how you were saying, like that person on paper,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
would you still stay with them?
Yeah.
Like, have you still stayed with them and like that list was completely in the cons? Like you didn't, that person,
Yeah.
this person, and you stayed.
Mm-hmm. And why?
Yeah, why? So why did you do that?
Oh, so the reason why I stayed with the toxic person was because I shared so much of myself to them, and it was like I was comfortable there. So I don't usually open up to people like that. So because I knew them for so long, and I shared some of my personal life with them, it made me stay longer.
That's definitely
Yeah.
big.
So yeah.
That's a big thing too. I know, like, there's a lot of people who are not happy in a relationship, but because
The time.
it's like I've been with you for 4 years, like this is all I know. So it's like
Yeah.
to leave and start anew, like even though it's very possible, but it's just you feel like it's like if you leave them, you feel like you've wasted so much time.
Yeah. A lot of
That
people
is
stay
just like,
because of that.
I might as well just stay with you because you already know me, you know everything. Even though you know deep down in your heart, like you want something else, but
Mhm.
it's kind of hard to just walk away from something you've been attached to for so long.
Right.
With that, with partner with what you guys said, I think you also fear the unknown with other people. Like, what if they don't know how to handle me? What if it doesn't go right? Then I'm back at square one again. Like,
But fear is the biggest thing I would say. Fear of starting over, fear of getting to know someone new, that stuff. Yeah.
oh, sorry, there we go. I find myself wanting to fix someone.
Ooh.
Like, not wanting to fix someone, but like wanting to make things work. Cause like I could be okay, we could talk about this and it could be adjusted. Or like maybe I'm not communicating enough. Maybe I should over communicate. Like like I used to find myself like doing that, and you don't need to do that with somebody who's willing to work with you to better the relationship.
Right. So I think I have it's not a spicy question, but I'm trying to be in my
We
screen
went a little spicier.
Alright, so if you're in a relationship and you don't want to express it, it's fine.
Okay.
But are you still friends with somebody that you were in a toxic relationship with?
Yeah, I am. One out of many. One.
None
But
of them.
the older I got, the more we connected. Because I was able to communicate my feelings and he was able to communicate. So we hashed it out.
Is this people that were toxic to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was toxic to a lot of people, but I'm not friends with them. Either I'm blocked or something, so.
All the people that were toxic were really like destructive, and like they got to a point where they were threatening. So I blocked them. Like little girls, like mad, scared.
Alright. So let me throw out another spicy question. Do you guys feel like, say you go through a toxic relationship, you guys been doing it for years, and do you guys feel like you could reconnect with that toxic person, like if they changed? Or would you feel like it would be too much because of the history behind it?
Yeah, most times it's too much because they have that vision of you, of what it was before. So they don't know the new version of you. They only have that old version of you. But it can happen, it's rare, but being around someone and you realize, all right, this person changed, it may be. But most times it's like they already picture you, they already have that old side of you in your head, stuck in your mind. Especially women, for women, I mean. You look at certain men and be like, it's like flashbacks.
Well, they have their own lives right now. I wouldn't see where I would fit in like any of their lives right now. So like, I don't know if it would be a beneficial friendship at all if we were friends right now. With any of the toxic
Right,
people.
yeah, that too. You move on in life, and yeah, sometimes you leave them in the dust. It's like,
We grew a lot
Yeah.
as people. Like I know that these people are in better places than they were. Like the people that they are with definitely changed them in some sense, and I could see that, like how they act with my old friends and stuff like that. So I'm happy for them. I'm glad they're growing. I'm glad they are not doing the things that they used to be doing and actually becoming adults.
Okay, so in that toxic relationship, have you guys received closure? And closure doesn't have to be like you two sitting down and talking about things, but like how did it end? Like was it just okay, we're done and just move on, or was it like let's talk about things and like separate on good terms?
For me, majority of the time I got blocked, or only one time we both mutually separated. And that was it. It's like we both knew it wasn't good for us and we both separated. But majority of the time, women couldn't handle what I was saying, or they called me toxic. But women don't like the truth.
Some.
Well, the ones I met, they don't like the truth.
I feel like he needed more closure than I did. So like, there's multiple occasions where I felt like he was yearning for closure, and I tried to give him what I could give, and it was like, it just kept being this cycle of like trying to ease his way back, I guess. So there were a couple times where like we spoke about it, and we're just like, I voiced that I moved on from this type of relationship that we had. We would separate for a while, and then I would get a call from a random number or stuff like that. So came to a point where I had to like really be strict about it and be like, listen, I'm in my own relationship right now. Like, I've actually moved on with a whole different person. I can't have you in my phone. You need to like get out of my phone, like not do this anymore. And he wished me well, and I blocked him. That was it. I couldn't confirm that he was gonna not like contact me again, so I blocked him off everything. I had to block his family and stuff like that, just so he wouldn't reach me.
God damn, that's a lot. Yeah, but closure, normally you don't need closure. It's just gotta move on.
You guys have said that you spent years with someone that was toxic. So how was the time with that person? Like, the person that was toxic versus like, if you're in a relationship now, like the person you're with now, like, what's the difference between the two?
Well, I'm just dating people. I communicate more now. So if I was to get into a relationship, I know how to communicate better. And that's what was lacking in my toxic relationship.
So do you feel like your toxic relationship taught you how to communicate?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. 'Cause that's the main thing that was lacking.
I agree with like learning about myself. I definitely learned, like, I changed my perspective on myself and like did things differently. But I would say the relationship I'm in now is like the first healthy relationship I've actually been in. Like, I get way more effort than I was ever receiving before. He's really my best friend. Like, I have no fear that whatever I say is gonna be thrown back in my face or anything. So it's a relief actually now, like being with someone that I feel like, okay, this is actually a relationship, a healthy, beneficial bond.
What did you learn that you weren't receiving though, also from those partners?
What did we learn?
Like, what did you learn that you weren't receiving from them? So, like, for example, from a partner that I had before, I was receiving emotional support in a way that was beneficial towards me, but I wasn't receiving support in the things that were like good for me. So, me, when I put out my book, I didn't get like good feedback. Like, this person wasn't there showing me attention, like showing me support, like things that were for me, like I wasn't getting that.
Yeah. Like to build you.
Right. So I wasn't getting something like that. So I wasn't getting affirmation. I wasn't getting support in that sense. So that's something that I was getting.
So in my toxic relationship, what was lacking?
Yes, on that person's part.
There's lack of respect. A very much off balance with effort. Like, he would only show effort when it felt beneficial to him. And yeah, like the support thing with things that I like enjoy, it'd be like he seeded doubt in my head, whereas like now he pushes me, like he'd be like, when are you gonna do this, when are you gonna pop this out? So it's like I see that drastic difference.
What I lacked in my toxic relationship was accountability. Accountability.
That's a good one.
Accountability. I can't say that word. I don't know why. But yeah, definitely a lack of that, because the person always pointed the finger. Well, you did this. Or it was tit for tat. It was like, I will say, you made me feel this way. Oh, but you ain't say that when you did this. Oh, you did this, but you did this. And it was like they could not take accountability for anything.
I feel like that's a big thing that a lot of people don't really learn how to do till like that person is gone. Like, they learn it always with another person.
Yeah.
You don't ever learn that with the person on the phone.
Right.
That's something crazy.
I don't know. To me, I feel like when that happens, like, it was supposed to happen. Like, because I feel like a lot of times, like, you don't really learn something until you actually go through it. Like, somebody could tell you, I'm pretty sure before we've been in relationships, like, we've all known, like, oh yeah, you gotta respect the person you with, you gotta, you know, show them affection, be romantic. But it's like,
It's
when you're
different
actually,
when you're in it.
it's like, you know you're supposed to do that, but then it's like, oh shit, like I forgot.
Or how do I properly do this?
It's like, wait, I'm supposed to take her out, like, but it's like,
That's crazy.
like, it's like you know you're supposed to do it, but then when you're actually in it, it's like, I don't feel like it, or you forget, or like it slips your mind. Like,
Nah, when you find the right one, that it just comes natural.
It comes naturally.
Yeah.
Like you just, oh, I just feel like doing it. Like,
Yeah.
like the person I'm with now, like, what was it? Recent? I think it was like last week, 2 weeks ago. Like, I just gave her money like random. She was just like, you didn't have to do that. And I'm like, I know. Like,
I wanted
that's
to.
right. Like, so it's just, I feel like when you're not doing, or when that person is not doing what you expect of them, it's like more so it's supposed to happen. Like that's the relationship that's supposed to teach you something for the next person.
Right.
Right.
When it's not naturally like mingling your lives, I guess that's when it's like really weird.
So I feel like at the end of the day, like every relationship you're in or you go through, like you're supposed to go through that relationship with that person. It's just that person was meant to teach you a specific lesson for the relationship you're actually supposed to thrive in. So,
Right.
And I feel like that was pinpointed in the last time I was here, and I disagreed with it. But then now I do agree. Like the things I went through definitely altered what's going on with me right now.
So to wrap things up, what is the number one piece of advice that you would give somebody who's either in a toxic relationship now or who's currently recovering from one?
That's in one and recovering. I would say find your way out. Find your way out, and yeah, because as long as you stay, the worse it get. So try to find your way out, ease your way out, and don't keep going for the cycle of what keeps pulling you back to that relationship. So the cycle, it could be sex, it could be gifts, it could be just all types of things that keep bringing you back. So just try to find your way out.
So I would say for yourself, if you are not overall happy in the situation you're in, analyze that relationship and really try to figure out why you're not happy and see if it's worth like fixing or leaving. Because if it's not worth putting yourself through it for this amount of time, it's time to leave.
So you guys can, basically shout yourselves out, Instagrams.
Well, my name is Llama Bean, and it's Llama Bean on IG. Llama Bean 111, that's LAMABEAN. And my podcast is called Views of the Next. And you can find it on IG at Views of the Next.
My name is Kalia Amber. You can find me on Instagram at Kalia_Amber, CALIYAH_AMBER. You can also find me on TikTok, Kalia Amber, but without the space in between.
We don't really got much updates. Season 10 is about to start soon. We're filming in August.
You better watch all the episodes.
Watch all the episodes. Season 9 is basically we wrapping it up. Because season 10 is like next month. So if you want to be a guest, hit us up now. Because like we got a cutoff date. So once that happens, like no more guests. Of course, make sure to cop Rena's book. It's still out. You know what I'm saying? It's been a year now. It's been a year, but we still pop. So cop that first book. My documentary is still out. Go check it out on YouTube. I'll leave it down below. Make sure to follow me on the Grammy and Twitter _JohnMoore. Also, make sure to follow the Wonderful Shows page on Instagram and Twitter. It's TNTK Show. As always, thank you guys for watching the show.
And that's all you need to know.